For this video, I've chosen SHBB NLS 001, Provide Manicure and Pedicure Services. This is AQF Level 3, which is equivalent to Certificate 3. It's included in qualifications, the Diploma and the Cert 4 of Beauty Therapy, and the Cert 3 of Nail Technology and Cert 3 in Beauty Services. So here's our target learner group. They're predominantly female, aged 18 to 40 years, all educated to Year 12. They include school leavers, mature age learners, and previous occupations include childcare, hospitality, retail, and dental nursing. They're all seeking career changes and employment entry and re-entry within the beauty industry. And they're juggling jobs, families, and budgets, so time and finances are a priority. Some of the different learning theories that impact on adult learning. The first is the behaviourist learning theory. This is where learners have clear expectations, which could be learning outcomes, a job description, or competency standards. Stimuli to condition learners to progress towards expectations could be rewarded with something like a prize. Cognitive learning theory is learning through discovery. It's also learning from experience and perception, which leads to understanding and problem solving. Information processing theory. This is chunking or sequencing to create a pattern of progression. Studies have shown that information is retained longer if information is presented in smaller content or chunks. The sensory learning styles are visual, auditory, kinesthetic, olfactory, and linguistics. These must be taken into consideration in designing lesson plans to make sure that activities and the content reaches most styles. Today's session is the anatomy and physiology of the nail. It's learning outcome 1, establish client priorities, and the performance criteria 1.4. Beauty workers need to have a good understanding of nail anatomy and physiology to identify nail disorders contraindicating treatment and to design effective treatment plans. By the end of this session, you'll be able to describe the structure of the nail, identify the individual parts of the nail, and list the function of the different parts of the nail. And there's a diagram of the structure of the nail. The main structure worked on in a manicure and pedicure is the nail. Knowing its anatomy and physiology is important to identify its condition, health, and functions that are responsible for protection and growth. Nail anatomy and physiology is the same for both fingernails and toenails, although I'm using images for fingernails. The technical term for the nail is onyx, pronounced O-N-I-K-S. It is used frequently in prefixes of many nail disorders, for example, oncophagy, which is nail biting. So the nail comprises, firstly, the nail plate, which extends from the root to the free edge. It's made of closely packed, semi-translucent keratinized skin cells, the same type of protein that's in hair. Its function is to protect the living nail bed of fingers and toes, and in manicures and pedicures, the main structure worked on is the nail plate. So the next part of the nail that we'll talk about is the free edge. The free edge is the part of the nail that grows over the tips of fingers and toes and is filed to give a desired shape in manicures and pedicures. Its function is to protect the fingertips and the hyponychium. The nail bed is a portion of skin containing blood vessels and nerves upon which the nail plate sits. Its function is to provide nourishment for nail growth. The hyponychium is part of the epidermis under the free edge of the nail plate, and its function is to protect the nail bed from infection. The cuticle. The cuticle is the overlapping skin at the nail base. They become dry due to exposure to water, chemicals, weather, and aging. Their function is to prevent infection of the nail matrix. The nail wall. The nail wall is made of folds of skin overlapping the sides of the nails. Its function is to protect the sides of the nails. Nail grooves are slots or tracks on the sides of nails which allow the nail to move along as it grows. Its function is to protect the nail plate edges. The matrix. This is also known as the nail root. The matrix is at the base of the nail and contains nerves, lymph, and blood vessels, and this is where new cells are formed, nourished, move forward, hardening on the nail plate until they form the free edge. The function of the matrix is to produce new nail cells. Damage to the nail matrix can affect nail growth. The lunula is the half moon at the nail base. Its appearance is caused by light reflection. Its function is to define the free edge. The nail mantle is the deep fold of skin in which the matrix or the nail root is lodged. Its function is to protect the matrix from physical damage. So just recapping the structure of the nail, today we've learned about the individual parts of the nail plate, the free edge, the hyponychium, the nail wall, the nail grooves, the cuticle, the nail bed, the matrix, the lunula, and the mantle. And we've learned about their description and also the function of these nail components. This activity requires you to check a fellow learner's hands to identify the location of nail components. Draw arrows to the correct positions and list their functions in your workbook. In our next session, we'll look at nail growth and nail shapes, and we'll focus on factors that affect nail growth and health. Factors such as diet, health, medication, climate, occupation, infection, and incorrect filing. So thanks for watching today, and see you next session.